I think for me, the breakthrough I'm by no means like super good at throw ups, but when I got to one that I could at least tolerate, was like you have to be able to make easily reproducible, consistent shapes.
If you like, but you can also embrace that each throw up is its own experience, and there's going to be subtle nuances in each experience.
Yeah.
And with that, you can embrace it. It doesn't have to be what it was previously. That hair between artificial and instinctual, is what makes things really dope.
But I think the consistency is like the hardest part.
Embrace the idea that no matter what it is, a specific recording of an experience. You could look at, someone might show you a photo of a tag, and even if it's just a close-up of a tag on your typical concrete wall, you might know where you took that tag. Mm-hmm. Like I've seen like some tag, like someone posted, and it was in Korea. Mm-hmm. And it was just a close-up of a gate, and I knew it was Korea. And then I looked in the sort of description of it, and it was in Korea.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes, that energy is kind of recorded in the mark. The recording of that mark, which is, a line, a stroke, yeah. So that's the kind of stuff I think about when I paint. So I think about what goes into a mark beyond, the mark itself. So characters are kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's being able to, like that one's dope.
Yeah.
That one's really, you should totally paint that one.
Yeah.
And now what you do, you see, it went from that to that, and you see it's gotten better. It's got a little more rhythm. You tried the teeth in a little bit of a different way, and then you went to that. So if you do that one more time, it's going to get even better. Mm-hmm. And then by the next time, you're actually just flowing.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Is the first one looks like that. It's like oh my god, I'm terrible. To like, you know what, I'm all right. To like, oh shit, that's kind of dope. Mm-hmm. And then you do it again. But you have to, and then by this time and after that, you can actually memorize it.
Yeah.
So if you paint it in a piece and you have to fucking freestyle a character, you remember this experience.
Yeah.
And that's how I do it. Yeah. And when I do throw ups on walls, each one is its own experience. I choose an M. It's just like doing a piece. Mm-hmm. I choose whatever letter I want. I feel like doing a lowercase, and I don't care. I don't care if my shit looks like, if my stuff looks like something I've done before or not. Mm-hmm. My art is just a catalog of everything that has ever impacted me on some level. But I trust that even then it's just filtered through me, and that filter, there's something unique about it. Mm-hmm. Each time you do this, no one will be the same.
Right.
But as you continue to do it, you build that sort of comfort, that muscle memory. You begin to naturally make adjustments to it. Like all these Remio throw-ups on the wall, each one is its own experience, even if it's the same letters. Mm-hmm. They all have something slightly different about them. And that's what's fun about throw-ups. And I think that in introducing it to someone is for them to really understand the philosophy of it. You ever see like someone like Ghost, how Ghost would do throw-ups where he can do one that's round and then he can make it squished?
I mean, I've seen the end product. I've never seen him actually.
No, but I'm just saying like how his throw-up can kind of change shapes. Like it's like squeezed, like a balloon.
Okay.
That, I do it myself, like where you just can change. It's like going in Photoshop and distorting something.
Right.
That you can do that, as you need to do it. Yeah. And I think that's what characters are ultimately, is the kind of the ability to see how far you can distort a shape while still being able to communicate something specific.
Right.
Whether it be a hand, a dog, a snake, a male, a female, whatever, symbols.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Is they're like very abstract symbols of specific things that are done expressively. Mm-hmm. What was your question before that you asked me?
No, I was gonna say, if you were gonna tell a kid that just started doing graffiti, like, what's the science? What are the words you tell them to make a throw up, like a good throw up? Because I feel like coming up with a good throw up is one of the hardest things to do in graffiti, even though it seems simple because it's a version of a bubble letter. But I think the science behind creating a good throw up is not that easy to come across.
It's being able to do the basics with a level of flair, a level of emotional intention that flows. It's a great throw up.
Technically.
No, but hear me.
Yeah.
I'm going to get technical.
Okay.
I'm saying that a great throw up is like someone who plays a great note in music, and playing an instrument. Why is it that two guitarists, one can be considered better than the other one? Or in painting, some artists are favored more than the other. And it comes down to having being able to convey a particular type of energy within a stroke, within a mark.
Yeah.
So there are some people that have really unorthodox styles, but the way they paint, it communicates a particular type of energy.
Yeah.
There are people that can do a very slow, heavy style, but sort of own an expression in it. Or someone can do something very frantic and fast or controlled. Like that guy Gary, that he can do formatted kind of fonts and measure it. Or someone else can do something very loose and expressive. Being able to communicate energy in a line. I think for people who are doing something, if their intention is to do a throw up, is to understand what a throw up is. It's something that you create that is done fast, without less thought, more feeling. It's a quickly executed communication. Some people who do really super technical throw-ups, it evolves into it being a piece. Mm-hmm. And those are great too. I love to play those games.
Who would be an example of that?
You know the examples of that. There are people that have very ornate, like I used to paint with Setup. He had a very ornate throw-up. Mm-hmm. That it took on the feeling of characters. Mm-hmm. That you can communicate a feeling in a throw-up. There's a lot of energy that is recorded in instinctive or committed mark making. So how to communicate a T in the most minimal form, but just also be able to have that T to have a feeling.
Yeah.
Or an E. There's a particular type of feeling that comes through doing that shape of E. No matter which way you do an E, there's something about it that's very attractive.
Yeah. Like I look at stuff like Horphy's graffiti, mm-hmm. and it's like really far off the spectrum of like what traditional graffiti is, but it still kind of harnesses that energy. You know what I mean? How do you see your stuff fitting into that spectrum?
I think it's those. If you're talking about Horphy or Horphy, the foundation. I think that he has a similar foundation to all of us. He just takes it into sort of an energetic direction. Mm-hmm. That is understood as him, mm-hmm. and it's playful. Yeah. It's you can tell his hand. He doesn't have to write Horphy. Yeah. For you to understand it, or you don't have to write Ewok to be Ewok. I don't have to write Rime to be Rime. Mm-hmm. That's if people feel an emotional connection to it, and I think that's what being a fan is identifying with someone or something in a way that you can see yourself in it. Great artwork is ultimately a mirror of yourself.